Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To Dr. Hamidah binti YAMAT. My name is Yasmin Nadhirah binti Mohamad and my matric number is A166260. Today I will be presenting on my mini thesis, which is Teachers' Perception on the Use of Fun Learning in Increasing Students' Literacy in the English Language. For the background of this study, the fun learning method was intended to create positive emotions in the learning experience. Students believe that they learn something after the experimental research of the fun learning method, which is from the previous research. Thus, the usage of the fun learning method in the Malaysian classroom are expected to produce the same result from the perspective of teachers in Malaysia. So, for the problem statement of this study, most of the students in tertiary level in Malaysia possess a low level of reading skill and in academic literacy in the English language. Our education system require an inclusive pedagogy that can cater the need of literacy in the 21st century. But unfortunately, the most popular teaching method are drilling using past year examination question, worksheets, and exercise books. For the research objective of this study, the first one, this study seek to explore the use of fun learning in teaching and learning session among teachers. The second objective, uh, this study wants to explore the aspects in fun learning that contribute to the increase of literacy level. For the research question, the first question is what is the perspective of the teachers on the usage of fun learning in the classroom? The second question, what are the aspects of fun learning that increase the literacy level? For the methodology of this study, the first one, research design. This study employs qualitative approach with case study methodology. The participant of this study can be divided by two, which is the main participant consists of two teachers uh, from SMK Tun Saban, and the rest of the participant is the participant that supported the main participant, which are two students and one teacher that hold the position as the head of English department in the same school. The instrument of this study employ the interview design, the data collection procedure. For this study is the researcher sought the approval from the participants, and a brief explanation were given to the participants about this study and how their personal information will be used in this study as analysis. For the data analysis, the thematic analysis by Braun and Clark 2006 was used. The validity and reliability in the study was ensured by the use of triangulation. This study used multiple interview from the main participant, which are the teachers, and also from their students and the head of English department about the main participant. So with this triangulation method, it would ensure the truthfulness of the data and the accuracy of the data. For the ethical measure, the consent from the participant was sought um, so that all the participants actually volunteer by their will to participate in the study. The participants were briefed about the purpose of the study as well as how their personal information will be used in this study. For the findings, the first objective, which is the use of fun learning in teaching and learning session. So from this objective, mm, the researcher found out two themes uh, in the data analysis, which is the fun learning activity and fun learning and student with challenges in learning. For fun learning activity, this study uh, can categorize the activities with four categories, which are the literature, listening, reading and writing, and speaking. So for literature, for example, Mr. Alham, one of the main participants in this study, conducted uh, his teaching with the use of music. He brought the guitar and played the guitar himself in the class, and he asked the students to create a song based on the poem from the literature textbook. This idea of his teaching is very interesting as it attracts students to pay attention to the sentences and words in the poem and what they really mean. Next, for fun learning and student with challenges in learning, mm, for this team, mm, students that have challenges in learning can be described as students that have the lowest, not the lowest, the student that have a low academic achievement, and they are often from the removed class, or in the Malay term, they call it as kelas peralihan. Most of the students are the indigenous student where they struggle with the national language, which which is the Bahasa Melayu, and also the English language. So the character of the student are that the students tend to focus more on their passion. Students have the interest to learn, but they easily get bored. Students don't have strong basic in English language. They do not know about the current English song like other students, and they do not know how to answer the question in the fun learning activity. For the teacher's role, teachers have to modify fun learning activity based on students' English level. Teachers have to balance both fun and knowledge aspect in fun learning activity. And then teacher need to facilitate students in fun learning activity more than students from other classes. And teacher needs to use the students' native language most of the time in class, because uh, the students do not understand the instruction if the teacher use the English language for for the instruction, and the teacher need to be more lenient with these students. Next, students' need of learning. Student with challenges in learning need extra help in learning, and they also need a low level of activity in learning, which is the low order of thinking skill question. Next, the aspect of fun learning that increase students' literacy. Uh, there are two themes in this objective, which is the impact of fun learning and the aspect of fun learning that helps students in learning and literacy. So the impact of fun learning can be divided and categorized by three categories, which are academic, environment, and behavior. For the academic, the teacher admit that the students become more interested in writing the essays, which is uh, because writing is actually the most is actually the activity that the student will uh, probably wants to avoid it. But when using the fun learning approach, the opposite things happen. For the environment, the students, based on their interview, said that the class become more cheerful and they feel more comfortable to speak in the English language, even though they have to speak it in front of their class with the rest of their friends. And for the behavior, the teacher admits that the students tend to show a positive attitude and perception towards learning the English language rather than not using the fun learning approach. The aspect of fun learning that helps students in learning and literacy uh, are three, which are the motivation, interest, and rapport. So for the motivation, um, the main participant, which are the teachers, said that um, The motivation makes the students somehow continue learning the English language even at home and not in their formal learning in class, because they have the motivation to learn through other sources such as YouTube and web and blog. So for the second aspect, which is the interest, uh, I would glad to pick a statement from the main participant in the study, which is Ms. Sham. He said that the key to a successful classroom is to gain the students' interest. Because if the student have the interest in learning the English language, then the learning can be considered as successful because they will absorb the knowledge and actually learn and give all their eyes and ears in the learning session. So, and for the third aspect that helps increase the learning and literacy in the English language is the repo, because to conduct a classroom that uses the fun learning approach need a strong relationship between the student and the teacher, where the student have to really listen to the instruction from the teacher, because if not, then the student will have too much fun and will not gain the knowledge of learning the English language that much. For the discussion, based on the previous study, this study agree that fun learning increases students' motivation in learning. Next, the fun learning improve the students' behavior in learning and thus the academic result. And this study also agree with the previous research and previous study that motivation is the key factor in increasing students' performance in learning English as a second language. The implication of this study um, can be seen mostly from the perspective of education, because this study proven the practicality of fun learning approach in teaching and learning session through the perspective of the teachers, which is which actually help the fun learning approach in real life for such a long period of time. And for the recommendation, further study on the use of fun learning in the tertiary education at the public university and of Malaysia is encouraged, as it may give out because it may gives out a different result from the use of fun learning in the secondary school. And next, the study on the practicality of fun learning approach in science-related courses can also be identified, as these are the critical courses that might or might not suitable with the fun learning approach. For the conclusions, there are three main points in the study, which are fun learning increases students' academic performance, including the literacy level. Motivation helps students in learning the English language. Motivation, interest, and repo is the main aspect that helps students in learning English language, and it increases their literacy. And that is all from me. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank Dr. Hamidah for um, for the guidance and for all the effort and and your consideration towards me and Afrika Muhammad Saleh. We really appreciate it, and we pray only the best for Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala to repay your kindness. Thank you, Dr. Hamidah.